Your subconscious mind is actively capping your trading profits without your permission. If you keep hitting an invisible glass ceiling where you consistently give back all your gains, this explainer breaks down exactly why.
It's literally one of the most frustrating, mysterious, and honestly universal challenges in the entire trading world. Today, we're cutting right to the core of market psychology to figure out what's actually happening behind your screens.
Seriously, does this sound familiar? You string together a brilliant series of winning trades. Your equity curve is climbing beautifully. You're feeling unstoppable. And then, out of nowhere, bam, you experience a massive drawdown. You make totally uncharacteristic errors. And, we usually just blame it on the vagaries of the market or a sudden run of bad luck. But is it really just luck? Or is there something operating right beneath the surface, effectively pulling the emergency brake on your success? Let's get right into section 1, the invisible glass ceiling, and look at these invisible barriers. This is where we really start to map out the tip of that psychological iceberg almost every single trader eventually crashes into. Okay, let's dive into this. The source material identifies the actual real-world manifestations of self-sabotage that completely ruin our equity curves. We're talking about those random lapses in focus. Suddenly putting in a buy order when you clearly meant to sell. Or maybe you just let yourself give in to distracting thoughts. You walk away from your monitors for like 5 minutes and you come back to find out you completely missed the absolute biggest trade of the day. The text points out that these aren't just random accidents. These errors consistently happen when you hit a very specific subconscious threshold in acquiring equity. You hit that invisible barrier and your own mind finds a way to force the money right out of your account. Moving on to section 2, anatomy of a belief and the mechanics of the mind. If we want to stop this self-sabotage, we've got to pop the hood and understand what's actually happening in our mental environment. The source presents this really fascinating, almost physical theory about how our minds work. It proposes that our beliefs aren't just fleeting thoughts floating around, they're actually structured energy. And not just that, it's energy that acts like it's conscious. They act as a literal force on how we perceive market information and how we behave. So we're talking about a real energy dynamic operating right inside your head. And because these beliefs are made of energy, they follow 3 specific rules. Number 1, they resist alteration. Just like a law of physics, energy can't be destroyed, so you cannot just hit delete on a belief. Number 2, all active beliefs demand expression. When they get triggered, that energy just floods your system. And number 3, they keep working unconsciously, completely regardless of whether you're actively thinking about them or not. To really ground this abstract concept, let's head into section 3, the boy and the dog, which explores childhood conditioning. The source uses an absolutely brilliant analogy here to explain how this conditioning creates these permanent energy structures. Imagine a young kid who has a terribly painful first encounter with a dog. His mind's natural pain avoidance mechanism immediately kicks in. He forms this highly energized, absolute belief, all dogs are dangerous. Because of that word all, this belief acts as a completely paralyzing force. It demands expression by making him feel pure terror every single time he even sees a dog, thereby ensuring he avoids pain in the future. But then, the boy goes through what's called a creative experience. This happens when you experience something completely outside the boundaries of your current beliefs. So say the boy is walking with his parents, comes around a blind corner, and unexpectedly sees a bunch of kids his own age just playing joyfully with some dogs. Nobody's getting hurt. He's suddenly confronted with indisputable information from his environment that completely contradicts his absolute belief. This beautifully illustrates his ultimate internal conflict. On the one hand, he has a conscious desire. He sees these kids having fun and, well, he wants to play too. But on the other hand is his unconscious belief, that highly charged energy screaming, all dogs are dangerous. The absolute crucial point here is this. What happens next is entirely determined by which side has more energy. And because that childhood fear is so deeply rooted, the intensely charged negative belief is going to completely paralyze him. He literally cannot step forward. It completely overrides his conscious desire to play. So what's the solution? It's not forcing it. The answer is deactivation. Remember, he cannot just destroy the fear. You can't destroy energy. But by taking tiny, incremental positive steps, like maybe just standing a little closer to a dog without getting hurt, he can gently draw the energy out of that negative belief. Eventually, he transfers that energy into a new functional belief. Like, okay, most dogs are friendly, but some can be mean. He essentially melts that barrier away. All right, section 4, subconscious self-sabotage and the subconscious limit. Let's see how this all ties directly back to your trading and that invisible glass ceiling we were talking about earlier. Think about your self-valuation. It's like a scale. It's the balance of positively charged beliefs arguing for your success weighed against negatively charged beliefs arguing against it. So where do those negative beliefs even come from? Well, just like the kid bitten by the dog, we pick them up incredibly easily in childhood. Maybe you accidentally hurt yourself while misbehaving and a parent said, "See, God punished you." You subconsciously associate guilt with being unworthy of success. Or maybe you were just taught that rich people are inherently greedy. These beliefs get buried so deep, but their negative energy remains fully active. When you trade with a positive sense of self-valuation, you are in the zone. Equity just seems to magically flow into your account because your conscious goals and your subconscious beliefs are in perfect alignment. But if you have unresolved guilt or deep-seated beliefs that you're undeserving, you enter the negative zone. Just like the boy's paralyzing fear of dogs, your subconscious literally treats a red candle like a rabid wolf, forcing you to make trading errors. It forces you to interpret normal market information as threatening, which causes stress, anxiety, and ultimate self-sabotage, right up until your bankroll drops back down to the exact level you subconsciously believe you deserve. That brings us to Section 5, deactivating limiting beliefs and taking control. It is time to melt away this barrier once and for all. The source material is very clear here. We don't have to go through years of deep psychoanalysis to dig up every single childhood trauma. Instead, exactly like the boy slowly stepping through his fear of the dog, a trader just needs to become highly aware of these self-sabotaging beliefs the precise moment they demand expression during a session. You have to actively train your mind to expect unique outcomes from the market, rather than letting old, fearful energy dictate how you perceive a trade. This is the climax of the whole concept, right here. You must take an active role in training your mind to believe in the uniqueness of each moment, and you must deactivate any other belief that argues for something different. This is absolutely key. It doesn't just happen by osmosis. This active, deliberate mental training is the ultimate secret to achieving consistent success as a trader. You are consciously building an entirely new belief system. The main takeaway here is pretty profound. The market environment itself is practically limitless. It offers endless opportunities to accumulate wealth. It is not the market that's capping your profits. It's your own internal energy dynamics. Your own sense of self-valuation is literally the only thing deciding how much of that wealth you actually allow yourself to keep. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you going to take the active steps to deactivate the conflicting forces in your mind, or are you going to let your subconscious keep giving back all your hard-earned gains? The choice and the mental work is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. I really hope this completely changes how you view your next trading session. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll catch you next time.